Development in Abuja, where all the victims kidnapped from their homes in a neighborhood in Dawaki by gunmen dressed in military camouflage have regained freedom. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Ben Igwe, confirmed this in Abuja. Tifon Essien reports.
Faith Aldo is happy to have regained freedom. She was among several others kidnapped on Sunday in this neighborhood in Dawaki, a suburb of Abuja. But following a joint operation by security forces, she and several others were rescued.
I just appreciate God for His love, for saving our life. Because when I was inside there, I was just praying that our senior pastor used to declare for us that none of you remember we die like a chicken. And I'm one of them, and I am faith. I have that faith that I cannot die like a chicken, and I will not die a premature death. So I cannot die like a chicken. That is my prayer there. And all of them, let's go just take control of everything there. Send people that will rescue us. And I even thank God answer my prayer. And we do not expect that we see people inside there. And God just does miracle.
She says they were made to walk up the hills for 3 hours before help came.
We reached like 3 hours before they get like 3 hours before we jam with those people and we escape.
Four of the victims had earlier escaped being taken up the hills. Julius Lawal is one of them.
They break the door, going down, come carry one my guy. The time they carry my guy, they stand like they carry one. Hit me for my leg. I think is where I saw yesterday happened. I come climb on top of my fence. Jump, come roll.
The rescue effort, we have finished the rescue effort. I led the operation personally. There's no person that is in any kidnappers then. All has been rescued. They have returned back to their homes. As we are coming down from the mountain, we saw those who are exhausted. We have to pick them and took them to Gwarempa Hospital, and they are back to their homes. We have been telling the criminals that it's not business as usual.
We gather that the police are now blocking the routes used by kidnappers coming into Abuja. Tifon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.
Now, for more updates, a security expert and former captain in the U.S. Army, Bishop Johnson, joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
So I spoke to the FCT Commissioner of Police at 7, and I'm sure you'd have heard some of the things he said in that last report. Well, he did talk about how Abuja is secure, but that the nation's capital is surrounded by 4 volatile states. And I want to ask, is that what makes Abuja vulnerable?
Well, it's not just only Abuja that is vulnerable, right? The entire country is vulnerable. You see, Nigeria is becoming a laughingstock of the entire globe, because there is nowhere in the country where you get this kind of reports every day of kidnappings and hostage taking, abductions. This is becoming like a recurring decimal. I commend the police for rescuing those who were kidnapped, but these people ought not to have been kidnapped in the first place if we are doing the right thing, if the fundamentals of our security architecture is right. Don't forget that not up to 2 months ago, there were incidents of kidnappings in this same Buhari. So it would be mind-boggling that 2 months later, we're still having kidnappings in that same area. So it means that we still have to do more. You see, I don't believe in this, reactionary policing. I believe in proactive and, preemptive and preventive policing. A policing that will prevent the incident from taking place in the first instance, not the one that is going to react after the incident has taken place. This is the kind of police that we don't want to have. And that is the kind of police that some of us have been advocating against. We want police that will preempt crimes, prevent crimes, not police that will react after crimes. I listened to what the commissioner said. I am not satisfied with that. I commend them for rescuing those victims, those who were kidnapped. But the police is going to have to do more to prevent citizens, innocent citizens, from being kidnapped in the first instance.
I will come back to that reactionary in just a moment if I have the time, because the commissioner also spoke about that and the reason for that. And I want to get your reaction to it. But let's talk about the idea of placing bounty on these kidnappers, like we've seen some people do, even in recent times. The FCT minister himself, how effective is that strategy?
Well, it's been effective in other crimes. I don't know how effective it will be here in Nigeria, because there is a trust deficit between Nigerian citizens and the security agencies in situations where there have been situations where they give information or they give intelligence, and then at the end of the day, somebody goes behind their back to leak that information, and they become victims and get hunted and get kidnapped or get killed. So, placing a bounty could be a tool that would help law enforcement to get intelligence information. But I don't know how effective that is, in Nigerian situation.
And I want to get back to that reactionary you talked about, because the commissioner said that one of the, that's the commissioner of police, he said one of the issues they have is that people do not call immediately they're having challenges, or that when these kidnappers, approach these communities, that they wait for the victims to have been taken before making that call. And so what they then do is to react to the fact that people have been taken. I want to get your reaction to that, and again, the role that citizens have or residents have in helping out the police.
Yeah, sure. I agree that citizens, police is everybody's, security is everybody's business. Citizens do have responsibility to help law enforcement to maintain law and order. But the problem in Nigeria is that Nigeria does not have the infrastructure. Now, if something is happening, what simple number can you dial, and get in touch with a dispatch who will reach out to police? In other clans, they have very simple numbers. I know in the US, they have like 911. Once you dial that 911, a dispatch will pick up the call. Even as you're speaking with that dispatch on the phone, all the police people out there in the field are already listening to that conversation, and those closest to the point where this incident is taking place will respond immediately. Police is not out there in the field. That is the problem. Most of the time, they're either at their force headquarters or in their police stations. There are no police officers that are strolling the streets of Nigeria. And sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's because Nigeria has not really invested in policing. They don't have the manpower, they don't have the equipment, they don't have what it takes to be
Mr. Beach Johnson,
there.
Sorry, I had to pause it. The commissioner did reel out some numbers. There were 11-digit numbers, but let's see how effective that will be. Thank you so much for your time. Security expert and former captain in the U.S. Army, Beach Johnson. I'm afraid we do have to leave it there. My apologies.